Hello, everyone. This is Shantae. Welcome to my analysis today on June 25th, 2020. I am going to come with these analysis real quick. It was a pretty jam-packed day, excuse me. I'm sorry that I'm on live late, but I did like about 4 hours of research. So, yeah. So, here am I. So with the coronavirus today, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the coronavirus because we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and it seems like that is now taking precedence since different states are passing measures of criminal justice, but it is still not over. Civil unrest is still not over. But let's tackle the coronavirus. So, according to the numbers today, off of John Hopkins and Washington Post and Google, but I did mostly John Hopkins. We are at the world is at 9,583,144 cases of COVID-19. The United States is at 2,418,570,000. The death toll is at 124,355, and that's as of 9:33 p.m. So I guess the numbers are updated every 3 hours on the death toll, depending on the states and how they report their number of cases and their number of fatalities. In terms of, I'm going to get to the other states, but in terms of the other countries, you have Brazil that's next in line of us at 1.2. So they're 228,414 cases of COVID-19, I believe, or they're still at 1.1. Russia is in the 600,000 tier mark. India is at the almost close to the 500,000 tier mark. They're still in the 400,000. The UK is in the 300,000 marks, about that. Spain is at 247,488. Italy is at 239 and 706. And then when you get to like places like Nigeria, they're in the 20,000s. Ghana is at 15,000. Senegal is at over 6,000. Who else? Kenya is at 5,000, like 5,300. Haiti is at about 5,000. The Diamond Princess, I'm skipping to the Diamond Princess, at 712. Trinidad and Tobago is at I forgot about the Dominican Republic, is at in the 20,000s, and so was Panama's in the 20,000s. Now Trinidad and Tobago is at 123. Grenada's at 23. Dominica's at 18. St. Lucia's at 19. When I get to the states inside the United States, Texas is at 134,000 cases of COVID, while Florida is at 114. Georgia's at 67,000. South Carolina is at 29,022, and this is coming from the the New York Post. California is at 198,667. Arizona is at 63,064. North Carolina is at 57,425. Louisiana is at 53,528. Ohio is at 47,651. Tennessee is at 37,695. Alabama is at 33,206. Washington State is at 31,000. Remember, they were the first ones that reported the first cases of COVID in the United States. Colorado is at 31,139. Of course, New York, we still got the highest number, but our curve is flattening. We're still laying at the 395,000 mark, and you know where that came from. It came from Europe. Did not come from China. It came from Europe. It came from, I'm assuming, from countries like Italy, Spain, and France, because those are the people that come and visit New York more than people from London. And New Jersey's at 170,000, which they are now behind California, because California is almost at 200,000. California has more cities in the states than any other states in the United States. In terms of the death toll, of course, New York is still We haven't really had like increase in our fatalities, but we are at 31,000. But who is catching? There's a lot of states catching up to us. California's about to catch up to us. It's a couple states about to catch up to our death toll. California has about almost 6,000 deaths. So they're going to catch up. Half of these places are going to catch up. Texas, Florida, they all right behind. And and I'm going to get into Texas pausing on Texas did, pause. I'm going to get to it. Pause on their order. Pause on their reopening and decide they're going to scale back on their reopening. But still some businesses are functioning. Because according to the NPR article in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott was announced the state as of today will pause on any further reopening in the economy now that a day after massive outbreak of coronavirus. And they reported almost 6,000 new cases today with 47 new fatalities, climbing up to, it was at 2,996, which is probably now at 2,300. So that is a lot to uncover. Also, he said, and I quote him, "As we experience on the increase in both positive COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations, we are focused on strategies that slow the spread of the virus, while also allowing Texans to continue earning a paycheck to support their families. The last thing that we want us to do is state is going backwards and closing down businesses. The temporary pause will keep our state curb the spread until we can safely enter the next phase. Enter to the next phase on our state for businesses." Hey, I wanted to. Yep. Hint to my absence. It's okay. It's fine. You gotta work. New York is phase 2. It's phase 2 in New York, Chantel. So you gotta do what you gotta do. You can always catch it I always post it on my Instagram post, YouTube. So I do that so people can actually view. Because there's some people that have to view it in the next day, which I understand. I just do it at the end of the day because it's better, because I can get everything that happened today in one sequence instead of reporting stuff that happened at 6 o'clock on one day and then report it the next day. Make no sense. So that's why I just do it all at one shot, and then you can always catch it. But thank you for always tuning in. I appreciate you and Jamila. So that's a good thing. But and they also have a lot of unemployment claims. They have 90,000 people have filed for unemployment, but only over 5,000 fewer applications, according to one of their people. And so pretty much, yeah. And also their hospitalizations in terms of he suspended elective surgeries within the cities of Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio, of course. And especially in counties like Bexar, Dallas, Harris, and Travis. And also, they have almost reached 100%. Well, they have reached 100% of hospital capacity, including the ICU beds. So, Texas, keep in mind, was one of the first states to reopen, I think, at the end of April, if I'm not mistaken, or the beginning of May. It was around that time. I knew the way they reopened and they not reopen in metrics, their cases were going to go up. It just so happened the trend started to go up and the media started to report on it, because I knew their cases were going up as New York cases were beginning to flatten. Once our death toll was starting to flatten from 800 to 400, that was a big dramatic drop. That was like half. I knew that New York cases were flattening, and we still are. Even though I'm going to get to the mayor with his fucked up analysis today. But yeah, so Texas, it ain't looking too spiffy for them. And even Arkansas is another place that is doing a pause on their reopening, because they have reached 75, I think, to 80% of their hospital capacity, according to the Associated Press, what they reported today. So all these little states that were so fast to reopen that people was protesting reopening, you may want to think about going back to work. This is why the extra $600 for unemployment was there. Just and so that people can actually still still live on their unemployment and on food benefits. But these Republican governors in these states, and keep in mind, some of these red states are just as poor as some of these blue states, the elite states that they call them, that live off of us blue state hardworking people. They need that money. They need that extra $600. And I still feel like that's still not enough, because senators talking about, oh, people ain't going to work. It's not. People want to go back to work. People just want to go back to work safely. They do not want to go back to work where they get sick at the job, that there's no PPE, because employers are supposed to provide PPE to their employees, because that's what it's in the CDC guidelines. But obviously, the states is not following the CDC guidelines, and the only few states that's following them is New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And I'm pretty sure, because Massachusetts haven't seen no increase on cases neither, so I'm pretty sure their cases are flattening too, because I'm pretty sure they're not reopening crazy neither. But yeah, these red states, and even California, which I'm very surprised at California, how they reopened and how people got sick going to church. Gavin Newsom, kind of disappointed, but you can fix that. So I just hope that these states, get it together. Now, in terms of these, because I have 2 separate notebooks. In terms of testing, I already said there's no mass testing. I think y'all all know that already. Y'all don't have to repeat that crap again. So yeah. In terms of financial stuff, I wanted to bring, because that financial piece is important. According to CNN Business, the first time unemployment claims have fallen in every report for the last 12 weeks. Still, the American job crisis is far from over. Another 1.5 million Americans filed for unemployment claims last week, which brings it to 47.3 million people unemployed. And that's not including the people that filed for the pandemic unemployment insurance. Even though there are 3 million jobs that were created, it's still a job problem, because people still applying for unemployment, which the unemployment rate is still high, 12.2. It's equivalent to the 1982 stat. That's almost 40 years ago, during the Reagan administration. What a coincidence. So another 728,000 people in 46 states claimed the first time the pandemic unemployment assistance. As I said, it's contract. So it's basically, if you want to round that number, it's about 50,000 people, million people are unemployed. That's a lot. That is a lot from the 325 million Americans that are in this country. It's a lot of people. It's a lot. Also, according to Department of Labor stats, 43,000 fewer applications are less than before, but it's still a lot. And 2 weeks in a row, the unemployment claims have stood at 19.5 million, which 23.3 million from weeks before. Also, however, the jobless claims in Hawaii are the highest because of the hospitality and the tourism, and that's following in line of that is Nevada because of the casinos and and the hotels. And there were some fraudulent claims in Washington reported, which they lost $650 million. And in that scheme, and also Maine was also a victim of the claim, and it canceled 24 initial claims and 41,000 weekly certifications. So overall, with this unemployment stuff, and even though African American unemployment rate is still high at 16%, and Latinos at 17%, almost at 18%, ain't looking too good for this administration, I can tell you that. This administration touted that they created 2.5 million jobs, 300,000 jobs for African Americans, and low unemployment. Unemployment numbers are high. They're in 16.7%. How low can you get? And then the new job report is going to come out at the end of the month as of next week, because it's almost the end of the fiscal year for the government. So it's not looking too good for this administration. I think they want to revamp their messaging, even though I'm waiting for them to really self-destruct, because they're doing it. They're self-destructing, and they're doing a good job at it. I know I'm trying to get all these words out my mouth, but it's true. They're doing so terrible with their messaging, in my opinion. You're contradicting on testing. Talking about, you told people to slow the testing down, then your medical professionals said no. He never told us that. So he basically wants to do that. He wants to do that. And he's trying to end support for testing sites in several states that are federally funded, including Texas, who's having a massive outbreak problem, and so is Florida. So is it looking too good for this administration? Don't think that Trump check is going to help you vote for Trump, even though I know most of you ain't going to vote for Trump. Because it's not going to help you. Not going to help you, boo. It ain't. That's all I'm saying. So next is phase 3 in New York City is a possibility that the mayor announced today in his brief that we're going to go to phase 3 as of July 6th. We're on that trajectory. But I have a little issue with the phase 3. He's saying that there was a basketball. Hold on for a second. Do you know anything about the second stimulus check? I have no idea. There's talks about it from the Treasury Secretary. There's also talks about him extending the tax deadline after meeting with a group of conservative organizations. But that may come up next week because the fiscal year is supposed to end on Tuesday. So there's a possibility. But if I get that information, if that information is also announced in news reports, I will definitely give that to you, Chantel. I will definitely announce it to the whole entire platform that I have. So I hope I answered your question. But getting back to this stupid phase 3 thing that Mayor de Blasio, it's almost like a contradiction of Andrew Cuomo's phase 3. He's talking about contact sports, basically like basketball and volleyball, which phase 3, according to the governor's phase 3, is low risk contact sport, such as baseball, softball, and I think of cross sports. So I think that phase 3 is but we will get the real phase 3 from Governor Cuomo, who is going to be working with, and at least what's his face was honest about he's going to work with Governor Cuomo, because that doesn't sound right. From what Governor Cuomo said was very different from what Mayor de Blasio said in terms of his phase 3. So Governor Cuomo is actually right about his phase 3 because it's low risk sports, and it's not high capacity, it's low capacity. That's why he needs the help. But getting to the politics of things. Criminal justice reform. The House of Representatives today passed, tonight, that's why I'm so late with my analysis, passed the Justice and Policing Act with the rate of, with the votes of 236 and 181. So it's basically, it was a sharp divide against party lines. Only three Republicans joined ranks with the Democrats, and they break the things. I mean, they joined with the Democrats and broke ranks with their party. That's the right saying. So you have representatives such as William Hurd of Texas, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, and Fred Upton of Michigan voted with the Democrats. So that's why there's 236, because it's 233 Democrats in the House of Representatives. And we hope to get more, because half of these people are up for their seat. And it might be a blue wave. We hope there's a blue wave. Pray to God. But according to the Washington Post, the Trump administration had efforts to veto the bill, along with House Republicans standing in line with Donald Trump and the Senate with their sham of a bill. There's Republicans that countered, according to the Washington Post, that federal mandates gone too far. So, will go too far, excuse me. So, Rep. Debbie Lasko of Arkansas, who's a Republican, said most police are good, honest people trying to help our communities, and that the law should not throw the baby out of the bathwater. I don't know what she mean about that. The baby out of the bathwater. So you're basically saying that police should not be held accountable for putting their hands on people for no reason? I don't know if you represent a black community, Representative Lasko, but last time I checked, putting your hands on people in chokehold, killing them, is not proper law enforcement. But, of course, you know who criticized the bill, saying it weakens our police. I'm not surprised about this statement, because he's pro-police. If you looked at last week or watched last week's press conference of him basically championing for the police, having police chiefs there while he signs an executive order basically funding more money to the police officers, tells you right then and there that Donald Trump does not care about black life or people of color in general. He don't care. Man don't give a damn. And that's just as simple as that. And I'm going to just end that right there. He don't give a damn. And half of these Republicans don't give a damn. So don't get bamboozled by even Tim Scott's sham of a effort to try to the bill and his crying sorrows, because it's not going to fly in my book. And also the noose, if y'all heard about the noose of the race car guy, Bubba Wallace, the NASCAR actually released the photo, and the ropes, it was 11 ropes, and the ropes don't look the same. And that was according to US Today. Don't look the same. I mean, duh. I mean, that is a noose. A rope with somebody's neck. It look like you hang people. It's for lynching. It's a noose. So he was right. And because he's one of the, probably, I don't know how many black people that works or like participate in NASCAR, that are NASCAR drivers, because I don't watch NASCAR because I don't like it, and I know why, the reason why I don't like it, because it's Confederate flags and stuff like that. That's racist. No matter if it was there, because the FBI obviously didn't do their job, but then again, it's a Trump FBI intelligence agency, even though he don't trust his own intelligence agency, but they cozy up to him because they don't believe there's systemic racism. I don't know, but I guess not. in terms of VP polling, so I looked at a poll. I got to give you the numbers. I'm going to give you the exact poll tomorrow, but I have one of the numbers. According to a polling that I saw on my Twitter feed, which is one of, I think it's like a Harris or Economist YouGov poll. I'm not quite sure. Kamala Harris ranks the most across the board in the 20 percentile of VPs. And next in line to her is Elizabeth Warren. And the list just keep going down, 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 and down. So it proves a point that having a woman of color, a lot of people want it. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, I mean, I was a Kamala Harris supporter. I'm still am a Kamala Harris supporter. I will support her even though she's not my senator. I like the way she speaks. She draws a coalition together. She has a diverse coalition. Elizabeth Warren is pretty good, but I just feel like, some of her policies are a little bit cliche. I mean, she's good with her policies, but it was just a little cliche, and some of it was just like not going to happen under this legislative body. Even if you get Democrats in, it's not going to happen under this legislative body, unfortunately. So that's why you need someone that's pretty practical. Sometimes practical does come a long way. You got to be practical in this world. You just can't be too big and structural, because if you're not practical in this world, it's like, how are you going to survive? I mean, that's what I'm saying. But as I end this live, all I can say is, with all this stuff going on, please be informed. Inform yourself. Don't spend too much time on it. I mean, I spent 3 hours, couple of hours doing all my research because that's just a me thing. But everybody else is not like me. That's what makes the world goes round. We all not like each other. Some of us can't, take this stuff all day long. There's times that I got to take a walk outside because I can't take this shit all day long, right? So, while searching for a job. However, I can say is, be alert, beware, stay informed, and keep hope alive. And vote. Have a good night.